Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs.
And I'm David Woldingen.
And would you know it, Cardinal baseball is just about back. So we're here today to preview this 2024 season as the Redbirds look to rebound from the nightmare of last season. Before we get into that, please guys go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video if you're so inclined, and leave us a comment. What do you think is going to happen this season? Will they be better? Let us know what you think. Then also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on X. All right, David. All off season and going back into the middle of last season, pitching. Will this team get pitching? Is this pitching they got good enough? Now the spring training is underway. That I don't think is the headline anymore. It's all these injuries.
And I want to preface that with it's still a headline.
Oh yeah,
You,
it is a headline, but the injuries, man.
yeah, yeah, the injuries are starting to pile up. Edmonds still not 100% after his surgery. And then you have Lars Newbar with the fractured ribs, so he's out for a couple of weeks while they heal. Really changes the dynamic of the outfield situation.
Yeah, oh, the outfield is, yeah, you have no idea. For those not familiar, Tommy Edman, surprise surgery, and he's been hampered with, swelling inflammation in his wrist that he had surgery on, and he really hasn't done anything all spring. Lars Nootbaar got a couple of non-displaced rib fractures, I believe, on his left side,
Yeah.
and he appears to be a long shot for opening day. Right now, he's kind of in a monitor pain tolerance situation. We're just kind of waiting and seeing what happens there. And yeah, that's
Well,
probably potentially
and,
two or three outfielders, depending
and
on how
based on,
they were wanting to do it.
and based off that, you're looking at just off the roster from last year, you're looking at Dylan Carlson as your center fielder, which isn't terrible, but he's also injury prone as well. So
Yeah.
the Cardinals have been shopping around with what they have. One name has popped up and he's been playing regularly in spring training is Victor Scott. Uh,
Yeah.
he has some speed. Uh, Defensively, he's very solid. Not sure what he can produce with the bat yet because he hasn't proven it yet. But
Yeah. I mean, he's batting 316 in spring training. What put into that what you will. It's spring training. You're facing guys who are working on mechanics and guys, scraping and clawing to maybe make the club and so forth. So you never know what to make of these stats in spring training. But Victor Scott, 316, better than 116, right? Obviously. So
well, and
potentially a viable fill in.
yeah, and at this point, he's holding his own and making his
Yeah.
case. Uh, and I say this with the fact that once those two get healthy, he'll probably go back down to AAA.
Right.
So it would be a very good experience for him if he does start to club with the team just for development purposes. If he does start with the team, I don't expect him to stay with the team unless he just tears the cover off the ball or something.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree. And
but
all
it,
this, David, all this, we hadn't even talked about the fact that the opening day starter, Sonny Gray, is no longer the opening day starter because of his hamstring.
Correct, yeah, very good point.
This
Michaelis
is
took that title now, I believe.
right. And this goes to, the running joke of the Cardinals rotation after these three signings of Lynn, Gibson, and Sonny Gray is the Cardinals were looking to trot out a starting rotation with an average age of about 106 years old. And well, this is what everybody feared is all right, you got five guys who have pretty high ceilings, but are also susceptible to injury because of age, if nothing else. And now here we are, Sonny Gray not making the opening day start, perhaps going to be able to go as the fourth or fifth starter, as it were, in terms of when he's available. I think big picture, it's not a huge deal on the surface, but it's validating every concern that fans had as soon as this rotation was set of, are these guys going to stay healthy? And if not, who's going to fill in?
And I would even go one step further. If a couple of the guys struggle, and I mean like mightily struggle, like I believe Lance Lynn had a run last year where he had a 7 ERA
Right.
for a multitude of games. How long of a leash do you allow these guys before you look for someone else too? Um, and who would be the first one to get sent down anywhere if they're struggling? And my thought on that one would be Steven Matz for the one aspect that he produced well in the bullpen last year and has done it. So if anybody had to move out of the rotation, he'd be the one who'd do it.
Yeah, and you know my attitude on this sort of thing. When the front office makes an investment, they're going to give every opportunity, especially with veterans. They are going to have a super long leash, whether they deserve it or not, based on their performance. So honestly, as long as they are physically able to go out and throw the baseball, I think the five fans we're looking at, those are going to be your ride or die. That's just the way it is, whether they should be or not. Um, but hey, Matt Carpenter's hitting the ball well, so
That means we'll
it,
see him every day.
speaking of 106 years old, and in spring training he is hitting the ball well. He's batting like 386. I want to say as of us filming here, which of course limited ABs and it's spring training, as I said, but it's better than the alternative. So make of that what you choose.
But yeah,
It's something where I think you're sitting here hoping, well, I hope they can score 6, 7 runs every single night out. Otherwise, there's plenty of reasons to be nervous as the Cardinals approach opening day.
well, and with the outfield situation, now you're missing a couple of bats in there, and you're throwing a rookie who you have no idea what he's going to give, and then you
Yeah,
have Mason Wynn, who's also not shown productivity yet with the bat,
yeah,
mainly because he just doesn't have the experience yet. So right now, essentially, you're looking at a 7-man lineup who could produce, and then you have no idea what you're getting out of those other two. So it's going to be real interesting to see how they handle things, especially with the outfield, because now you're looking at putting if Victor Scott is with the team, he's probably going to play center, and then you have to decide who's playing your corner outfield. So they've been moving Dylan Carlson around out there, both right and left, and same with Donovan uh, to get him reps out there because they might use him out there as well. And then you have Jordan Walker, who's most likely going to be your DH until everybody's healthy. So it's real interesting to see what they're going to do with this outfield situation right now.
yeah, and offensively, you think about where the team is and what they have. You have Goldie Arenado, Contreras, Jordan Walker, and then Nolan Gorman. You feel good about those five, and then Brendan Donovan, being back. Well, there's what is that, 6 guys you feel pretty solid about, but otherwise, you got three very uncertain spots in the lineup, I would suggest. And, depending on how things are going, you may not have Donovan and Gorman in the lineup at the same time.
And
So,
one more name we haven't even mentioned is Alec Burleson is going to fit in there somewhere too.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you're looking at him in a perfect world being a bat off the bench, but he could be out there a lot. And what's he capable of if he's asked to, say go play left field 3, 4 or more times a week? Ugh. And guys, going back to injuries, talked about the bullpen. Keenan Middleton, you know, out with the forearm strain. And, when I posted this on all the social media, the first thing I thought was Tommy John. That's a precursor, is that forearm strain. That often leads to Tommy John. It not. it's not an encouraging injury to have. I think everybody sees the writing on the wall as a potential future, and that's not good because aside from him, you're talking about hoping that Helsley returns to form, and you're talking about Gio Gallegos hoping he gets better than he was last year.
Well, I think
And then what?
some of his issues were he was just gassed with the lack of starting rotation, and he was out there almost every game. It seemed like.
Yeah, and that goes back to okay, great. Well, can the Cardinals starting rotation hold up? Well, your ace is injured before the season starts. I got to be honest. You have 5 to 6 bats you feel great about. Other than that, this team worries me a lot.
Now, I don't know about you, but I do feel like, especially on the pitching side, they're better than they were last year. Not by a lot, but they are.
Hard to be worse.
Hard to be worse. Um, I do think this club could get up to 500. I don't know if they can go more than that, especially the way they are right now.
No, I agree. And let's face it, we're gonna find out about this Cardinals team pretty quick. I was looking at the schedule right before we started here. 4 against the Dodgers on the road, then at San Diego, and then Miami, who doesn't suck anymore, and then you're defending National League champs. That's how you start the season. Or the Phillies. Phillies are in there. That's who it is.
Well, and that Dodgers series will tell you everything you need to know about our pitching, just because that is probably the most vicious lineup I've ever seen in recent years.
Well, Dodgers are out there trying to win 150 games this year. That's just stupid. No, I there's a chance the Cardinals dig themselves a huge hole just because the schedule is very difficult to open up. You could see them fall right on their face and be 3-10 or something right out the gate. Um, and as much pressures on this team to rebound, as anxious as fans are, and as little patience they're going to have, this schedule sets up very badly.
Oh, and it could spiral real quick too off
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. This team could they could lose the fan base before the month is out, before April is over, if things go sideways. And yeah, with these injuries, with the hard schedule to open up, I'd say there's an increased risk. I think we'll do one more video that is specifically a prediction, but yeah, based on what we've seen so far in spring training and what we know of this team and the injuries and everything, David, on my side, it is anything but sunshine and rainbows and puppy dogs.
On the bright side, it can't get worse than it was last year. So, and we're gonna get a good solid look at Mason Wynn. I know they signed. We haven't even talked about him, but they signed Brennan Crawford as well
Yeah,
uh, for a veteran presence, kind of like the Chris Carpenter signing or Matt Carpenter, excuse me. uh, but I mean, it's it's hopefully it's not hard to stomach, quite honestly. Uh, but
I think that's where you're at is can the Cardinals be a competitive ball club?
yeah,
Right now, I'm
the
not looking playoffs.
well, and like I said, get out of those first 4 games against that gauntlet of Dodgers that everybody has to face.
Yeah,
Uh, who are most likely going to win everything? Being honest here, but if they can maintain a 500 for like the first 10 or 15 games, I call that a major win for this club, especially with all the injuries right now.
agreed.
But we do have what, a week left of spring training, and I'm sure things will shake out more as people get sent down and they figure out the roster as it is for opening day. We'll keep you
Right.
guys updated with everything, and we'll see you with our prediction video here coming soon. Thank you guys for watching Under the Yard Sports.